Hello. So I am going to start offering this farmhouse mini bench. So I want to put the first one together and make a video of it so you guys can refer back to it and see. It's pretty self-explanatory. I painted mine first and then put it together, and I'm gonna adjust the slots so they're a little bigger. I would almost suggest, so this is gonna be two pieces. I used a warped piece of wood and had to really fight with mine to get it in. But you can see these slots. So this big main backer piece has slots, and that's the only thing that has to fit into something. Your seat, I know the angle's wonky. Your seat is going to fit into those three little slots. I would test it before you paint, make sure it fits well, see how much wiggle room you have. If you paint it first and then put it into the slots, it might be tight depending on how thick you went with the paint. So you might have to sand some of it back off. If it's really bad, just bust out an X-Acto knife and just chisel some stuff away. Or put it in your slots first and then paint these two pieces as one. I just did a chippy farmhouse brush paint job on this. I didn't want it perfect. I wanted it to have, like, you know, look weathered. So that's the nice thing about the sloppy paint method, is that you are you're evenly sloppy. So it goes together really nice and quick. You don't have to be perfect with it because it's supposed to be, you know, chippy farmhouse-ish. So hopefully this video helps. I know the angle might be a little tough. Let's see. I'm trying not to, yeah, we'll see. So I have not showered. I'm still in my workout clothes from this morning, but I wanted to throw this together. So put your seat in first, okay? Like I said, you might need to do some sanding to fit it into the little edges if you do get too thick, but I am gonna adjust those slots that are in the back of this big piece so that it fits in there a little easier. So with this laying flat, with your bench up, these side pieces get glued first. And like I said, mine is warped, so it's gonna be a little challenging. I'm using super glue. You can do, I would do something that dries quick. So a super glue, like a Gorilla Glue kind of thing. Ooh, just got myself super glued. Because you don't wanna have to clamp it and hold it and all that kind of craziness. So I'm just, I guess I could put it on here. So I'm just gonna put just a few dots. You do have to work kind of quick so it doesn't dry out. Just some dots, and mine is warped, so it's gonna be a little bit of a challenge. It's gonna go flush with the sides. Nice and flat and flush. And if you put this together a little crooked, it's okay. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to look old. So that is flush. It's all flat here, okay? So I'm just gonna hold it until that sets. I did paint both sides of this in that sloppy kind of way, so it really doesn't matter which side I use. Your pieces are gonna look a little singed on the back of one side. So if you're doing a method that doesn't really hide that, then go with your nice side out. All right, so that one's good. So you can kind of see on this one, it has, I gotta sand, well, I could sand that. It's got some little char marks because this was the back. So when the wood is down in the laser, it gets kind of like a flash from the tray that it sits on. So it's not here. So you'll be able to see which is your front piece. So same leg, other side. And yeah, and you'll notice I didn't paint the bottom of that because I knew no one would be seeing it. So top and a side. So just a couple dots of wood glue. Don't go heavy. But it does dry clear, so it's really not the end of the world. And if anybody's looking at it that close, then they're too close. Okay. My bench is warped. I was using up scrap wood, so I made it a little more challenging for myself. Again, it's flush with the side, so it's all flat from here. My hand's in the way. From here down, it's all flat. It's flush with the side, so there's a little lip where your next piece is gonna go. You're just using super glue, something that dries quick. Okay. My next piece, let's see. So because mine is warped, I'm gonna do it like this, so it's hanging off the table. But this next piece is just going flush on the front like that. But I'm gonna try to fill in my gap that I have there, which you will not have. I'm not gonna sell you some warped wood. So I'm gonna put a little more super glue here than I normally would. And this is gonna go up the sides. Just because I want it to really grab so it can unwarp itself. So it's just flush with your legs as much as you can. And I'm gonna put some pressure on mine to make my bench straight. So I would just suggest laying everything out ahead of time, figuring out where it goes before you start gluing. Hopefully it doesn't pop back up when I let go. All right, moment of truth here. Yeah, it might a little, but it serves its purpose. Okay, so the arms, same thing. They're just gonna go flush with the sides there. So you're gonna put glue along one of the sides and on the feet on the bottom. So just along here. So this is super easy to paint, super easy to put together. Perfectly imperfect, doesn't have to be, you know. I'm gonna switch this arm. I like the outside of it better than the what would have been inside. I'm having to put a little more pressure on mine. I'm off camera, I'll be on camera again. Again, if your wood is warped, it just takes some extra squeezing. Pieces are not perfect. All right, that bottom needs a little bit more. Let me squirt some in there. So you can see it's a little wobbly still. I'm having an issue because my little piece, but I'll get it. And this I could clamp. But the nice thing about super glue is I can just put more down in the crack and then I'm gonna lay it flat. There we go. So everything's flush. Wait a minute. I put the wrong side on. Ah! You know what? Why is there two? This is supposed to be the side. Good thing it wasn't quite. All right. Interesting. I cut more pieces than I had to, I think. Yeah. All right. So, this is why I figured I'd glue it with you guys. All right. So, glue along the bottom and the longer side. That is hilarious. Flush with the side. This piece should make a little more sense. Okay, so I'm just squeezing and holding everything in place and just applying some pressure. That's hilarious. I cut this piece twice. So anyways, the sloped ones are your sides. This is the first time I'm putting it together, so. I'll have to have a little disclaimer at the top of the video that says don't do what I did, but you won't have an extra piece like this. I wonder why there's two. Anyways, yeah, you won't have an extra piece, so you won't make that mistake. That's funny. All right, I think I'm ready to move on, yes. Again, along the longer side is where you're gonna put the glue, and then the 2 feet. I gotta figure out the best way to lay this one so I can squeeze it. All right. Flush with the sides. Put some pressure so everything fits nestled in tight, and that is it. This last arm is it. So let me know if you have questions. Like I said, I just used I used a 2-inch one actually. Let me see. Yeah, like this. So I just used these little 50-cent chippy brushes, and I just put the paint on like willy-nilly. Didn't make sure it was solid. Wanted it to look weathered. You just want to make sure that you do it to the sides. And sometimes after you put it together, you'll realize there's a spot you want to go and add more paint to. Like I would probably add more paint to the front there just to even it out. Or you notice the side you missed completely. All right, are we good? We're good. So that is your little mini farmhouse bench. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.